this episode of My Cat's Tale, let's meet Pawsley.
I have this one cat left. He likes cuddles and he screams. They try typing. If I'm not careful, they delete stuff that I need. I tried to teach him to listen to me, but then I figured out that people are right and cats won't listen.
Joining me now on My Cat's Tale, we have Nathalie and two delightful cats who've just met each other as well. So this is going to be a story about lots of meetings. First of all, welcome to the show, Nathalie.
Thank you a lot, Evan. Nice to meet you.
I do love your last tweet where you've dyed your hair and the most important thing is it matches the cats.
Of course it is. I mean, they need to look like my biological cats, right?
So we have Pawsley and we have Wintery. Let's start with Pawsley because Pawsley's the main one. Tell me about Pawsley.
So Pawsley is a little boy that I got about a year ago. And the special thing about him is that since he's a little baby, he's just very talkative and very loud. The first thing that his breeder told me is, I have this one cat left. He likes cuddles and he screams.
Screams? What do you mean he screams?
Like normal cats say meow. And he just goes on and on and on. And by now he's 1 year old and he can do 10 seconds.
That sounds both wonderful, but also potentially very, very annoying.
It actually is not annoying because he doesn't do it so much. He's just doing it when he really wants something. And he's a very chill guy. So he only screams at me when he needs his toilet cleaned. And I'm usually very quick with that. And he screams even more when he wants to go for a walk. He's outside because he's not allowed to go out on his own. He's only allowed to go with me on a harness.
So he knows what he wants from his life then.
Exactly. He's a very confident little boy and he's the boss in here.
Why did you decide to get a cat?
I always wanted to have a pet, and unfortunately I have a bad allergy against cats and dogs. And at some point I just found out that my allergy calmed down a bit, especially around ragdolls. I have two ragdolls, my Pawsley and my Wintery are ragdolls, or ragamuffins. I'm not so much into breeds to really tell you about the difference. So as soon as I noticed that my allergy has calmed down, I just went out there and got a cat straight away, and that was my Pawsley.
What was it like to finally have a pet?
It's like my biggest dream come true. I've never really seen myself as a cat person. I always wanted to have a dog, but I'm not allowed to have dogs in this flat. So this was like the next best option. And like Pawsley's like my little chihuahua on the leash.
I was going to say, you like dogs, you don't have a dog, but you still have a pet that goes out on the leash for a walk every day.
Exactly. But Pawsley doesn't want to go outside when it's cold or when it's too hot outside. So it's the more comfy way of having a pet, I guess.
Was there other choices? Were you looking around and trying to find the right cat, or was Pawsley just a connection immediately?
I've been looking around a lot, and Pawsley and his sisters, he had 4 sisters who looked exactly like him. They were my first choice. I've been thinking about another cat that was living closer to me because I had to drive quite a bit to get my Pawsley, but that cat was already gone when I asked about her. So I was very lucky about Pawsley. I've been asking the breeder about the character of the cats. And when she said she has this little boy who loves snuggling, I knew that I needed to have him. And I love cats that talk a lot.
So what was life like for those first weeks? Pawsley, home, yourself and Pawsley learning about each other, learning to live with each other. What was magical about that?
You need to consider it was my first pet. Apart from budgies, I always had budgies and canaries and stuff because I'm not allergic to them, but he was like the first fluffy thing in my house. And the special thing was I in the beginning I tried to treat him like a little dog. Like I tried to teach him stuff. I tried to teach him to listen to me, but then I figured out that people are right and cats won't listen.
There are now countless people going, you tried to get a cat to listen to you. That will never happen.
Yes, I just thought this is a prejudice, and if he loves me enough, and this connection between us was very important to me, I thought if he loves me enough, he will listen to me. I was wrong.
I'm sure he does listen to you. He just doesn't want to do whatever you want him to do. No, not doing that. Feed, sleep.
I thought if he really loves me, he wants to make me happy too, but he doesn't. He doesn't care.
Doesn't work like that, Nathalie.
How do I know? How do I know when I couldn't be around cats before?
But they all have their own personality and they all love us back in different ways. How do you know Pawsley loves you?
I don't know if he loves me. He just complains. I don't know if he likes me. I'm just the person who gives food to him and who gets his toilet clean.
But what kind of a difference has he made in the house? What difference has Pawsley made to you?
He's a big difference because I've been living alone for a long time, nearly 10 years. And then I had him moving in, and now we're sharing this life, and I'm not going to bed on my own anymore. Doesn't mean that he comes to bed with me because he doesn't like beds and sofas for some reason. But he's always around, and before his little brother was here, he liked to follow me around a lot. In the past weeks, this changed a bit because he needs some alone time because this little kid is so annoying.
Yes, this is Wintery, who has... How long have you had Wintery now?
For about a month.
So where did Wintery come from?
The thing is, I used to take Pawsley to my office, and then we had some issues because my new colleague doesn't like having cats around because they stink, which I disagree with, but it doesn't matter. So I was afraid that Pawsley needs to stay home alone a lot in the future. So I was thinking about how I can help him out. I was trying to work from home more, but my boss didn't want to give me more than 2 days at home every week. So I went online and was scrolling through the cats online again. And I've been looking at lots of cats, lots of ragdolls because of my allergy again. And then there was the little Winty, and I couldn't forget about him. He was the only cat online that stayed in my head.
Those countless cat people who are listening to this podcast now are thinking, introducing 2 cats. That's almost as fun. Were you worried about bringing another cat into the household?
I've read lots of stuff about bringing cats together, and I wanted to do it in the perfect way. So first of all, I got a blanket from Winty, and Pawsley was able to sniff on it for a week. And Winty got a blanket from Pawsley too. And while Winty didn't really care, Pawsley was sniffing for like 10 minutes and kept returning and kept sniffing on the blanket. And then when Winty moved in, I wanted to go slow and maybe keep them in separate rooms. But the issue was I live on my own and I'm not 2 persons. I have to decide which cat I'm staying with. So after an hour, I decided to give up and just let them see each other. because whenever I left one room, the other cat was calling.
And as we know, Pawsley would probably be calling quite loudly.
Exactly. Winty is very silent, but he keeps calling when I leave the room.
But I suppose also they've had almost a month of the blankets going between them and the scents being shared. So they already probably knew about each other.
Yes, I think that scents are very important to cats for some reason that us humans won't understand. And I think this was something that has helped in the end because they have been hissing in the beginning when they met each other. They have been growling a lot, but there were no attacks and no blood.
So are they quite close now, or have they sort of split the house into two spaces, one for each?
Winty wants Pawsley to be his big brother, but Pawsley is very annoyed. That's the
Oh,
situation in the moment. That means Pawsley likes to go outside of the room, get some space for himself, and Winty will follow. When I'm there, it's okay. Then things are not that bad because Winty likes me too. I know that Winty likes me. I'm not sure about Pawsley. Um, yeah, but when I'm not there to give Winty attention, I think Pawsley has a problem.
so when you're away at work, do you know how they're getting on?
The first time I left them alone was last week. So after about a month of them knowing each other, because in the beginning, Parsley sometimes attacked the Winty when he was too annoying, and I couldn't leave them alone in this state. I've been off work for quite a while, and in my new situation at work, I'm luckily allowed to bring them in again. So I had them in my office a few times over the past weeks, and then last week I decided it's okay. They can stay at home together and nothing happened. I can't tell what's going on at home when I'm not there, but nobody got hurt.
I'm in. I love the idea of bringing your cats to work. I mean, when you, how does that work? How did it work with Pawsley on his own?
Parsley is a calm cat, especially when he's in a new place. He doesn't disturb a lot. I don't live too far away from work. There's a bus that only takes 5 minutes. So I put him into my bag or into a little cat stroller. I have everything. I have a backpack. I have a normal cat carrier. We've tried it all. Parsley hates the stroller the most. He keeps screaming when he's in there. He keeps screaming on the bus too. But when we're walking, he's fine. So we have the choice between walking for 20 minutes with a very heavy cat. He's like 5 kilograms. And going by bus for 5 minutes and screaming nonstop.
What about when you get to the office? Did you tell everybody in the office, oh, by the way, the cat's coming in tomorrow? And everybody's just like, cat? Office?
I think people have noticed because there was a cat toilet before the cat was there. And everyone who hears about it is a bit surprised because most cats are a bit more hyper than Pawsley and they eat paper and stuff. Like Winty does that too, I must admit.
So, so have they both gone to the office now? He's not been long with you, but has he made the trip to the office yet?
Winty has been to the office too now. And both of them like lying around on the desk or stealing my office chair. Sometimes they try typing stuff, which is not so cool because if I'm not careful, they delete stuff that I need.
It brings a new idea to the dog ate my homework. Okay, you're working now. Ah, the cat sat on the printer. I assume that they love being in the office as well.
I have a feeling that they like the office, but Pawsley just doesn't like going there. Like the way there is the issue. That's the only reason why they are not coming along every day.
What ages would they be now?
Now the baby is 4 months old. Not even.
So they still have a lot of growing up. They still have a lot of understanding the world before they become mature cats. So they must still be incredibly playful.
I feel like Pawsley has understood the word when he was 8 weeks old.
So we have an old soul of a cat who's now just, I know everything.
Exactly. Because he hasn't been the usual baby. He's just been screaming all the time when something happens that he didn't like.
And Winty just, of course, he's going to be 4 months old, exploring everything, looking into everything, and just exploring, I guess.
I didn't know that ragdolls can be that hyper.
So you have this contrast then. You have very laid back and very everywhere.
Exactly. Pawsley has never smashed anything in my flat, although he moved in as a baby too. But Winty started with the plate in the first week.
So they're two very different cats. But it sounds like you have a house where everybody gets on. Where everybody is friends.
Yes, they are friends now. It took them a few weeks, but Pawsley starts getting a little more accepting now. So instead of biting Winty's throat, he's now just licking him.
And I suppose as Winty goes out that very early kitten phase, there's going to be a little bit more space given.
Yes, I think that Winty will grow up a little bit more. I can imagine that he will be a little bit more active than Pawsley for the rest of his life, but I think he will get less annoying.
Now you've had Pawsley and Winty in your life. Now you have had cats. How much of a difference has it made to you?
It makes a huge difference to me because I now have a reason to want to get back home all the time. I've always been someone who liked spending time at home, but now when I leave without the cats, I really, really miss them. And I just want to spend the whole day with them all the time. And that's my reason for bringing them into the office too, not just because of them being alone, um, also because I can't be without them. They're just my best friends.
Has that surprised you?
No.
You expected that connection when you...
Yes, my biggest wish coming true with them.
Well, it is absolutely lovely to hear their story and your story and the cats who would prefer to work from home but don't like the commute. So, yeah, see, they're really sensible. They know what they like and what they don't. Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
Nathalie, thanks very much for taking the time to tell us the story of Pawsley and Winty. It's been delightful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was very nice to talk to you.
You've been listening to My Cat's Tale, a Spence Media production. Listen to more tales of our perfect pets at mycatstalepod.com and support us on Patreon.